The rusty chain rattled like a serpent's warning as it slapped against the iron gate, locking me out of my own damn ranch. Sweat trickled down my back under the blistering Texas sun, the kind that bakes the earth until it cracks like old leather. I gripped the steering wheel of my battered Ford pickup, knuckles white, heart pounding with that raw fury only a man pushed to his limit knows. What the hell is this? I muttered, slamming the door behind me. There she stood, arms crossed, smug as a cat with cream Karen Whitaker, the HOA queen bee, her bleach blonde hair helmeted against the wind, lips pursed in that perpetual scowl. She'd chained my gate, blocking the only road to my 200-acre spread, the one my granddad built with his bare hands after the war. This wasn't just land. It was blood, sweat, and the ghost of every sunrise I'd watched alone since Sarah left me 2 years ago. And now, this entitled witch thought she could play God with it. I stormed up, boots crunching on the gravel that echoed like gunfire in the still afternoon. Karen, what in God's name are you doing? This is my property. My voice cracked, a mix of rage and disbelief, the words hanging heavy in the air thick with the scent of wild mesquite and distant cattle lowing. She didn't flinch, just tilted her head, her pearl earrings catching the light like tiny accusations. Oh, honey, she drawled, her southern accent laced with venom. This road. It's HOA property now. We've got rules. Your trucks are tearing it up. And frankly, your operation is an eyesore. The neighborhood voted. Neighborhood. This was rural Texas, not some gated suburb. The HOA she lorded over was a Jokia cluster of McMansions plopped down 5 years ago, swallowing up the edges of what used to be open range. But they'd weaseled their way into controlling the access road, the one that snaked from the highway right to my gate. I felt my chest tighten, a sigh escaping like steam from a pressure cooker. How had it come to this? Me, Jake Harlan, 45 and worn like an old saddle, fighting over dirt with a woman who'd probably never dirted her manicured nails. Flashback to 3 months earlier, the first warning letter arrived in my mailbox, crinkled from the rain, smelling faintly of ink and bureaucracy. Violation of HOA covenants. It read, my ranch wasn't even in their damn association. I'd opted out when they formed but that road. It was a shared easement, or so they claimed. I'd ignored it at first, too busy with calving season, the air filled with the bleats of newborns and the earthy musk of hay. Sarah's departure had left me hollow, her note still tucked in my glove box. I can't do the isolation anymore. Jake. Isolation. This land was my sanctuary, the rolling hills dotted with longhorns, the creek whispering secrets at dusk. But Karen, she saw it as a blight on her perfect cul-de-sac vision. Whispers from neighbors trickled in old-timers like me grumbling at barbecues, the smoke of brisket curling into the night sky, beers clinking as we shared stories of her pettiness. She's got the board wrapped around her finger, one said, voice low like a conspirator. Little did I know, that was just the storm brewing. Back to the gate, I tugged at the chain, the metal cold and unyielding against my calloused palms, a frustrated growl building in my throat. This is bullshit. Karen, I've got livestock that need tending. You can't just, she cut me off with a laugh, sharp and echoing like breaking glass. Watch your language. Mr. Harlan, the covenants are clear. Pay the fine, fix your eyesore, or stay out. Her eyes gleamed with triumph, the kind that makes your blood boil slow and steady. I turned away, slamming my fist on the truck hood, the thud reverberating through my bones. Driving back to town, the radio blaring some twangy country song about lost love. I felt the weight press down, anger morphing into despair, then a spark of defiance. No way was I letting her win. That night, in my cramped motel room, since home was now inaccessible, the AC humming like a distant train, I pored over maps and deeds, the paper crinkling under my fingers, coffee staining the edges bitter and black. Enter the unexpected twist, Manny Ruiz, the quiet surveyor from the county office, a guy I'd bumped into at the feed store. He was no hero type short, wiry, with a mustache that twitched when he smiled, always smelling faintly of cigar smoke and old books. But Manny had a bone to pick with the HOA too. They denied his family's permit for a small vineyard on ancestral land, calling it incompatible. Over greasy diner eggs the next morning, the sizzle of bacon popping in the background. He leaned in, voice a conspiratorial whisper. Jake, that road. It's not fully theirs. There's a loophole in the original plat part of its public domain. Up for grabs if you know the right channels. His eyes sparkled with mischief. A pause as he sipped his coffee, the steam rising like a veil. I felt a flicker of hope, fragile as a dawn light, cutting through the fog of frustration. Manny wasn't just helping. He had his own subplot brewing, a quiet revenge against the system that had sidelined his dreams. We bonded over late-night calls, his laughter crackling through the phone line, sharing stories of lost opportunities. Manny's late wife, taken by cancer, who dreamed of those vines. My Sarah, who couldn't handle the ranch's solitude. Emotions swung like a pendulum, elation at potential victory, sighs of exhaustion as we dug through records, the musty scent of archives clinging to our clothes. Weeks blurred into a montage of strategy, me selling off a few head of cattle to fund the play, the auctioneer's gavel banging like Judgment Day, the lowing of animals a mournful soundtrack. Karen escalated. Of course, anonymous complaints to animal control, her minions snapping photos from the roadside, flashes like lightning in the twilight. One evening, as thunder rumbled distant and ominous, I caught her lackey, a weaselly guy named Todd, tampering with my fence. Get off my land, I bellowed, voice raw, rain starting to patter soft on the parched ground. He scurried away, but the damage was done. His section sagged like a broken promise. Inside, alone with the creak of floorboards and the tick of the grandfather clock, I paced, heart racing, breaths coming in shallow gasps. Doubt crept in. Was this worth it? The isolation hit harder. Memories of Sarah's laugh echoing in the empty house, the faint lavender scent of her lingering on an old quilt. But Manny's pep talks grounded me, his voice steady over the line. We're in this. Pomano. Justice don't come easy. The turning point came subtle, like the shift in wind before a storm. Digging deeper with Manny, we uncovered old county records, yellowed pages whispering secrets of forgotten surveys. The road's eastern strip, unclaimed, a relic from when the land was wild. I bought it outright, a quiet transaction in a stuffy office, the pen scratching like victory on paper, the clerk's yawn breaking the tension. But Karen, she doubled down, rallying her HOA troops at a town hall meeting, her voice shrill over the microphone's feedback squeal. This man is a menace. His ranch lowers property values. Mud, noise, smells. The crowd murmured, a wave of unease rippling through the room, scented with stale coffee and tension. I stood in the back, fists clenched, feeling the stares like pinpricks, a deep sigh escaping as Manny squeezed my shoulder. Then, the subplot deepened. An unexpected ally emerged. Mrs. Elena Vargas, a widow from the McMansions, her silver hair pinned neat, eyes sharp as tacks. She'd lost her husband to a heart attack during an HOA dispute over garden gnomes. Of all things, Karen's a bully, she confided later, over tea that steamed fragrant with chamomile, her hands trembling slightly. She blocked my driveway once for aesthetic reasons. I'll testify. Emotions surged, gratitude washing over me like cool rain, mixed with the bitter tang of shared pain. Court day dawned crisp, the air buzzing with anticipation, birds chirping frantic outside the courthouse windows. I adjusted my tie, the fabric scratchy against my neck, heart thumping like a war drum. Karen swept in, flanked by lawyers in slick suits, her heels clicking authoritative on the marble floor. The judge, a no-nonsense woman with glasses perched low, banged the gavel thud silencing the murmurs. Testimonies flew, Manny's expert maps, projected with a hum of the overhead, lines snaking like veins. Elena's tearful account, voice cracking on memories of her husband. The room heavy with empathy. My own plea, words tumbling out raw and unfiltered. This land is my life, I said, voice breaking. A pause as I swallowed the lump in my throat. She's not just blocking a road. She's blocking my soul. Karen countered, shrill and defensive. But cracks showed her size, turning exasperated. Face flushing under the fluorescent lights humming overhead. Climax hit like a thunderclap. The judge ruled in my favor. The road segment is now private property of Mr. Harlan, she declared. Gavel slamming final. Gasps rippled through the courtroom, the sound swelling like a crescendo. Karen's face crumpled, smugness shattering into shock. Then fury a bitter end as she stormed out, heels echoing defeat, muttering curses under her breath. Outside, under a sky streaked with victory's gold, I breathed deep, the fresh air tasting of freedom, mingled with the distant low of my cattle calling me home. Manny clapped my back, laughter bubbling. Elena hugged me, her perfume soft and reassuring. Justice wasn't just won. It inspired. In that moment, amid the controversy and backlash, I realized standing up against bullies like Karen isn't just about land, it's about reclaiming your piece of the world. One defiant step at a time. The chain came down that day, rattling free. And with it, the weight of isolation lifted. Sarah even called later, voice tentative over the line. But that's another story. For now, the road was mine private. Forever.